Alright, Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Karkadash, Dabanas to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there, onto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. I'm going to start the show out with this. It's funny because I did a show on this before, but it just proves that this man's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Another evil, heartless behavior from your neighborhood devil. Anyway, I'm gonna read the quote and I'm gonna play the video, which we already know. This quote says, this is from Henry Kissinger, okay? Military men are just dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns in foreign policy. From the great Henry Kissinger. Alright? From the great Henry Kissinger. Out of the devil's mouth. So let me go play the video.
America, an organization.
Thousands of U.S. troops have been plagued with food insecurity and have been finding it hard to provide for their families, especially during the pandemic. Independent journalist Ashley Banks tells us why.
Thousands of active duty military members in service at home and abroad are struggling to have their basic needs met. Roughly 160,000 of them are facing food insecurities and are finding it hard to provide food for their families. Feeding America, an organization geared toward coordinating work with food banks across the nation, says food insecurity is an issue in America and the military is not exempt. According to activists, military members have been dealing with this issue for years. However, it has worsened during the COVID pandemic. Junior level enlisted service members who have children are amongst those who are impacted the most. According to Feeding America, 29% of junior level enlisted troops face food insecurity in 2020. This is due in part to their low salaries and their frequent relocations, which makes it hard for their non-military spouses to find steady work. Another underlying issue is an agriculture department's rule stopping families in need from being able to access the government assistance program called SNAP, which provides food stamps for low-income families. Senator Tammy Duckworth, a former Black Hawk pilot deployed in Iraq, weighed in on the issue and said it's one of these things that the American people don't know about. We're the mightiest military on the face of the earth, and yet those who are in the lower rung of our military ranks are, if they are married and have a child or two, they're hungry. How can you focus on carrying out the mission and defending our democracy if you're worried about whether or not your kid gets dinner tonight? At this time, Congress is aiming to find avenues to combat the food insecurity issue. Recently, Senator Duckworth sponsored a bill called Basic Needs Allowance, which would allocate funds to military families across the nation who are in desperate need of food and other household items. Reporting in Washington, Ashley Banks.
And joining me now to discuss is Tyrell Ventura, host of Watching the Talks. Now, Tyrell, the biggest question that comes out of all of this is how is it possible that so many military families are battling long-term food insecurity in the nation that not only has the largest military on the earth, but also spends the most on its military by far? I mean, why haven't we seen more action taken by the government so far?
Because we don't spend money in the military on the soldier. We generally spend money in the military on the bombs or on the higher-ups and on the big ticket items, or, throwing money at Lockheed Martin or Raytheon or one of the...
And what he just said is absolute truth. Although if you join the military, become a GI, which are you technically government issue. So you pretty much sacrifice your freedoms and so forth, even your own body to serve your country. Although those are factual truth, but the real money is not on the soldiers, it's really on like you said, the bombs and so forth. And there's another quote from the Rothschilds. Said, give me a country's wealth. I don't care who writes the policies. That's one of them. There's another one that just crossed my mind, but it'll come back to me. But in hindsight, they care less about. I just read it from Henry Kissinger, like military men, all right, Well, I guess today's women too, but anyway, military men are nothing but dumb animals, all right? Because you're being instructed to do something, to fight a war that you have nothing personally against, to serve something that's supposed to be greater. And I'm not gonna play this whole thing, but he says it later that hearing these things, for example, my favorite movie, Dead Presidents, and it gives you a time in the 60s where men went out there to go and fight for the Vietnam War, and he came back broke as hell. Well, they didn't get noticed until, I believe, the 1980s. So a whole decade or so forth. And one of the main movies was Rambo. All right, Rambo was a prime example of a soldier leaving the Vietnam War, coming back, and treated like shit. Why you? That's what I was there for. So America has a historical attitude when it comes towards their own soldiers. All right, I'm gonna let this play out a little bit. He's gonna say hit more points.
One of the big defense contractors of the military-industrial complex, very little of that money actually sees its way down to the soldier unless it's the technology they're carrying.
Which is unrighteous, because there's a law of war in the scriptures which I forgot which particular chapter. I think it's Numbers 10th chapter. I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna quote it. That basically, when the nations go, when an army goes in, it takes down another nation. The riches are supposed to be equally given out from the men that actually did the killing to the people, just the irregular people. They don't get the same amount, but they'll get a good amount, and that's the righteous thing to do. What America does, they don't give a fuck who Esau. Well, sorry, we can say it right. What Esau does, he doesn't give two hoots who was in his military. The spoils does not given out equally. All right, which is wicked as all hell. Let's just play.
Allows them to kill better on the battlefield. And the real truth of this problem is that, look, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, the military only wants one person. That's the soldier that signed up. The military ultimately doesn't care about that soldier's family or that soldier's kids. Why? Because they only need what they can get out of that one soldier. That's a harsh thing to say, but that's the reality of the whole situation. All right, that's a true harsh reality. I might add, if you were I was in the military, so. If you go in the military as an E1, E2, you come up the ranks, you're still not meeting the amount of money that you need in order to survive. And then you get paid every 2 weeks salary, and you work the easiest job or you work the hardest job. It doesn't really matter. All right, you get treated like pure shit. So you get paid less. So the only way you will get paid more is if you get married. Now, if you get married if the woman knows about the whole situation, she probably could lie and say that you ain't doing your part, and the whole command could take your money. So you just be working for free. All right? So if she don't know about it, you could be banking. Because you're going to get paid as much as a married person, but the higher ranking person. So a lot of that too, that's another major factor. So even in the military in itself, even the time that I was in the military, it was always the great financial gap, even at the time that I was in it. So how much more now? So with hyperinflation looming, then these soldiers are going to all over the fucking world. All right, soldiers, sailors, whatever. They're going all over the world. Then they have family out here. So according to everything, if you're a vet, but you still active duty, your family's supposed to be taken care of.
All right. But now they're saying that basically the families of these people that's sacrificing their lives are not even being fed. That is evil as all hell, yo. All right. How the f can you putting your life on the line, have a family? Matter of fact, they're supposed to receive benefits for you being in there, and then come to turn around, they can't even eat properly. That's why America, yo, that's why Esau can't be in power no longer, man. Everything that he does is just absolutely is evil, man. All right. This was when I saw this, I was like, oh shit. I had to do a show on this because it's just Esau, man. Sirach 26 and 28. There be two things that grieve my heart. The third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffer poverty. Damn, isn't that's 100%. All right. There's no rhyme or reason for any man to go out there, put his life on the line, to put his body on the line, to serve a king, and to end up not receiving anything at the end. That is wicked as all hell. That's why the terminology spoils. All right. To the victor goes the spoils. So it doesn't go to the top guy who didn't go out there and do anything. He put his life on the line. It goes to all the soldiers that survived, and those that didn't survive, their family would get the compensation. That's the right thing to do. All right, and it doesn't matter if it's a evil army or so forth. That's the right thing to do. But until in this society, the same military men will go out there, put their life on the line, come to return to have nothing. That's why you have the VA hospital, so forth. Shit, VA. They don't. When you even come out, they don't even have a job set for you. All right, you're supposed to have a certain privilege against every other applicant. They don't give a damn about if you have an honorable discharge or so forth. They look at you like, and it's all determined because at the time I wasn't 9/11 just it was happening. So you get that sympathy thing where people will look at you, oh, thank you for your services, but that only goes so far. Because overall, when it's all said and done, you still out there suffering. And everybody's looking at you, you should be fine. This, that, to the third. Esau plays a terrible, horrible game. Matter of fact, I wasn't going to bring this out, but it's crossed my mind. Habakkuk 1 and 5, it says, no, sorry. Wrong chapter. It's Haggai. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. You have so much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled. With drink, you are clothed, but there's none to warm. And he that earneth wages to be put into a bag with holes. Now, would you always bring this up with Israel? Because it is for Israel. And these curses are so real, no matter how you look at it, and I always bring it out too. When you come from poverty, there's only a couple ways out of poverty. Meaning, when you're from the hood, there's only a few ways to get out of the hood. One, become an athlete. Two, graduate high school or something like that. 3, become a drug dealer. All right. 4, and not least, go in the military. These are the only real options that a young black man or Latino, Native American man has in this society. Now, you could go to college, which graduate high school goes with that, and you could be forever in debt. But guess what? You're going to be forever in debt, and this really going to hit you. And no matter what situation you do, it's always going to hit you. All right? So you go into the military thinking that you're going to be in a better predicament. But until you are still under them curses, man. And no matter what you do, whatever rank you are, your pockets are still being cut from you. There's a lot of times when you're in the military, you hear of people tell you about how a man got married to a woman. She went to the command, meaning whatever you from, wherever you stationed, and tell them a bold-faced lie, saying that he's not taking care of this, he's not taking care of that. And then what do the command do? They fucking dock your pay, make sure she gets her end. They'll dock your pay, and you working pretty much for pennies. In this society, everything's built upon cutting people off from their earnings, man. Let's be real with it. And this is one of the major reasons why the Most High has to just take this man out of power. I'm gonna make this short. James 5:1. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, and weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Yea, you have heaped up treasures together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers." Now, always equate that to your average day worker, but part of laboring is joining this man's his military. All right, that's a laborer's work, because you pretty much are nothing but a slave. All right, you are on the go at any moment. You also suffer these things as well. Okay, hey man, no matter how you look at it, if you're an Israelite from whatever perspective, tribe, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, it doesn't matter. You will always be under them curses. No matter what the situation, you may think that this person is better because they got this or that to the third, they got a big house, they're worth millions. You are always going to be a goddamn slave until Yahushua get us out of here. All right? It says, "Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. Cries of them which are reaped are into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth," which is what? Yahushua, which the Lord of Sabaoth meaning the Lord of armies. All right? And according to the law, like I said, I can't remember if it was Numbers the 10th chapter. According to the law, when a person goes to a war, everybody's supposed to have something. Let me see if this is it. Yeah, it might be it. Hold on. Let me go to the point. No, it's not that one. Can't remember the wording, but there's a specific law basically stating that how you're supposed to treat everybody. All right. Well, I know it's in Numbers. Nope, it's not that one. I think it says the Midianites. Let me see if I can find it, because I think nope. Well, I did the show before. Let me see. I'm gonna keep looking to the spirit. I might end up finding it. But they showed how unrighteous Esau is when it comes to everything. All right. Let's see. I remember exactly. Oh, even Salaki, even David made a statement as well. When about giving out the spoils. All right. I can't Salakia brothers. I can't remember a specific chapter which one it was, but I'm gonna have to do another show on it. Which I did a show on it before. I just can't remember. Wait. Nah, that's not it. Well, it probably could be in Deuteronomy. I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna go in depth. But the officers, the people that went to war to get something, and every person showing how wicked this society is too. Because every time America gets into war, right or wrong, which the majority of it is wrong, all the citizens of America should reap the benefit from taking from the other country. But they don't do that because they keep them among themselves. And that's why when the Lord comes back, man, all these unrighteous dealings that Esau have been doing, underhanding everything, everyone, ripping people off left and right, he's going to have to pay for it. And he's going to pay the ultimate price by bloodshed. Because when it comes to finances, he robbed the world of their finances. He gave them fiat currency, which is not having them trade it and do all this other stuff. And yet, he still rip people off with the fake money that he gives out. So this man gotta go. Matter of fact, I'm gonna end it off on this particular scripture. Slack, I couldn't find out that other. And it's funny too, because I'm most likely gonna find it after I finish. It says, Sirach 10 and 6. 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So this man is not fit to rule. This man is not fit to be in power. This man is not fit to have the position that he's in. And it's clear as day, every day. We see it with our eyes. With that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation. Shalom.